Sairam, everyone. This is the October 2023 episode of My Sai and I. And today we have two young adults from Austin, Sanket and Sravan, who have volunteered to share their experiences with Swami. Let's begin with a prayer. Dear Swami, as we gather here today to share our experiences between you and us, please connect with each one of our hearts at a very deeper level. And uh, we ask your guidance and blessings as we open our hearts here to share all of our experiences. Let this be not just experience sharing, but inspire us, uplift us, and may us all find strength, courage, and what we need in our lives through this experience sharing. Sairam. Sairam Sanket. Let's get started with you. So I think we have not met either. I don't know if we met. Right? We probably have not. So I think we should start with a brief introduction about yourself, right? And why don't you walk through us on your experiences from? I know you were born here, brought up here. You had a peculiar experience here, bringing up right from your childhood, etc. So I would like to hear more on what inspired you to have you as part of our Sai fold, and what inspired you to be part of Swami's organization. Sairam, over to you.
Sairam, brother, thank you so much for the opportunity, giving me the opportunity to speak. Also, thank you for Swami for giving me the opportunity to speak. So Sairam, everybody, I haven't met most of you. I'm pretty new to the Austin Sci Center, so I would love to meet a bunch of new faces and get to know many more people. My name is Sanket Katta, and I am originally from Seattle, Washington. I moved here last January to study physical therapy. I'm currently in my doctoral program studying physical therapy at the University of St. Augustine, which is in South Austin. My story and my journey with Swami is actually pretty it's very, I don't know how to describe it. It's there's a lot of ups and downs when it comes to my journey with Swami. I was first I come from a Sai family, actually. My grandfather was introduced to Swami when he was working as a doctor in during medical school in Karnool in Andhra Pradesh. And so he was introduced to Swami from a friend, and ever since then he was like completely invested in Sai Center, and he had that revelation, but he had revelations that Swami is God. He used to write letters to Swami multiple times. He used to write letters constantly, and Swami used to write back. And we actually have some laminated letters from Swami back home in Puttaparthi, which is really awesome. Swami always calls my grandfather Dr. Garu, which is doctor, in like a very endearing manner. And it was just very, very sweet to hear, such a, regardless of whoever it was, Swami used to be like, Doctor, Valnava doctor. That means like, how are you, doctor? Like very sweetly. Swami actually came over to our house in Anantapur one time. My grandfather actually was trying to get Swami to come over to our house multiple times. And then finally Swami's like, okay, I'm Sunano. That means I'm coming home. And so my grandfather was like, oh my God, we need to prepare everything. We need to get everything ready for Swami, and left and right. He was preparing. He told my grandma, and then they were getting the house ready and so forth. And so by this point, like everyone in our family was very, very invested in Swami, even including my great grandparents. So I think when Swami came home, everyone was serving him food and stuff. But then my great grandma at that point, she had Parkinson's, so she was like always, she had a tremor in her arms. So she was hesitant to serve Swami, but I think Swami knew that like she wanted to. Let Swami knew that she wanted to serve him, right? So Swami goes, Rama Parvale, meaning it's okay, come here. And she ended up having the opportunity to serve food to Swami, which was really amazing. So I just thought that was just I think a story in my life that stuck with me. My personal journey with Swami, as I said, I grew up in the Seattle area, but before that, actually, I have a twin brother, and my brother and I, we grew up in India. Actually, we were born in the U.S. but lived in India for 5 years. There, we used to go to bhajans constantly. I think at the age of like 3 or 4, we didn't really have that understanding of who Swami was. But whenever people came over, I remember we always used to have pictures of Swami everywhere. Um, my simple question when I was about to ask my grandma, I was like, "Who's Swami?" And then I used to be, my grandma was like, "Oh, that's God." I'm like, and then from then on, it was like, "Okay, Swami's God." But I didn't truly sit and think about, okay, is Swami God? Because at that age, I wasn't really able to comprehend anything. So we moved back to the US in 2007, and the first thing my father did was look for a Psi Center. Um, Psi Center was, and we ended up developing a great community, ended up forming a lot of great bonds with so many fantastic people. To some of them, I'm still really close to for the past 16 years. Um, yeah, and I think my connection with Swami actually started um, growing stronger after coming to the US. Um, so in we used to attend SSE from 3rd to 4th grade, not because we wanted to go. It was mostly because our parents were like, "All right, you need to go," and it was that. But then I think in 5th grade we had the opportunity to perform in the play in front of Swami. Um, so we started participating, or we started practicing for that for I think a year and a half before, or a year and a half before we were supposed to before yeah, year or a year and a half before the designated date. So we started practicing in 2009. The Our offering was on 2000 was in 2010. So it was a play called All Our Relations. So it's about Native Americans and how their philosophy, um, their philosophy is closely resembles Swami's teachings. Um, and practices we used to practice every weekend, left and right. They were really fun. I was from the Seattle Center, so all the kids from the Seattle Center used to come up. All the kids from the Oregon and Portland Center, and all the kids in the Portland centers used to come up, and then we used to practice, and we used to go down to Oregon every weekend. It was nonstop dedication. Really, really, it was hard, but I think it was really great to, I guess, bond with so many people, make a lot of friends. But I think still at that point, I I was still doing the play, I think, more because my parents were telling me to do it, not because I had a whole personal connection. Um, but I remember when we went to Prashanti, I think the day before we were supposed to go and practice at Cycle and Tall. We were supposed to have like a whole practice rehearsal. But for some reason, I don't know why, I started throwing up. I had a really high fever. I was really, really sick. And at one point, I think I was actually throwing up blood. Um, so I was really, really sick. And I think I was at that point, I was like, okay, let me give this praying thing a try. Um, I took a second. I'm like, okay, Swami, give, please help me get better. I want to practice. I want to perform in front of you. I want to give it my all. So I can be better. I can, show what I learned in my practice. And I kid you not, the next day, completely fine. Completely fine. Fever was gone. No nausea or anything. And I was in tears. I was 10 years old at that time. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? I can finally go and perform. And I think that was
Finally.
just really that was really, really awesome. And at the end, Swami came down and gave um darshan to all the kids. So even though I did he was right. He actually came down and he talked to my friend, and then he was sitting right in front of me. Um, he did not say anything, but literally looked at me for a solid 2 minutes and smiled as if he knew everything was happening. Um, and I think for me, that was just I as a 10-year-old, when you give it your all, you just burst. I was melting in the inside. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Um, And I think ever since then, I always knew I had a connection with Swami. I knew that he is there for me constantly. Well, yes, I did have some ups and downs in college. Well, like for example, making the right friends, focusing on school. But in the end of the day, I knew that Swami was there through my parents, through my family, and so forth. I think, yeah, Swami's always there. Swami's omnipresent. Um, Swami is everything. I think for me, ever since that time, I've seen relentless support from him, and he's performed so many great fortunes in my life. Like for example, he helped me get through difficult times of college and helped me get into physical therapy school. Like um, that's a big one. I think to me, when I when I'm explaining to people about Swami, I think the big thing is I always tell them, I say he's my teacher, right? He's not God, because if they say, I think a lot of people can't process when we say that, okay, a man in a physical form, like a man we view as God. A lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to fathom that. But I say he's my spiritual teacher, he's my guide. Um, I think I always tell them I don't see any fault in anything that he says. The simplest message, love all, serve all, means just that. Love all, serve all, regardless of anyone, regardless of who they are, no matter how, if they've mistreated you or if they've been kind to you. Love all, serve all means that. And without him, I think I would not be who I am today. So yeah, that's my whole story about Swami. Thanks for listening. Yeah.
Hey, that was really inspiring, Sanket. So I mean, you spoke about how you said you grew up in India. You're born here, but
Mhm.
grew up in India. You had some connections and in the center back in India, and then you came back here. You got enrolled in SSE, and then
Mhm.
crossing, and back then you again went back to a play, um, which transformed what you thought about Swami and who Swami is, and when you came back, you had your own ups and downs, and kind of Swami helped you shape up all of what your journey is. So it's beautiful journey here, right? Like starting with uh, how it kind of started. Where I was about to ask you by that it was like I was about to ask you, did you ever have seen Swami? Have you ever seen Swami? Have you ever physically experienced him? That was my question in my mind, and you suddenly said, "Hey, no, I was in a play," and I was like, "Oh, wow, okay, that that was running in my mind." And you gave the answer straight away, right? As though Swami was answering it when so yeah, I mean, you spoke about a couple of things here, right? Like one, you said you instead of referring him to as a god, you take him as a guru, right? What does it really mean? What is the difference that you take when you say Swami is a guru for you more? Then does it mean it's more closer? Does it mean Does it mean more stricter? Does it mean, what does it really mean when you say he being a spiritual teacher versus a god? Like what kind of perspective does it make a difference on?
Brother, that's a great. I feel like that's like an easy question at the same time. That's a hard question to answer at the same time. I was just thinking. I think I see him more as a teacher because the stories that I hear from other people and the stories that Swami says and the examples that he gives are very, very relatable. And he breaks a lot of these tough concepts down. Um, and I think I think the stuff he says, he's more of a teacher in the sense because for me, I can process a physical form of divinity, right? Um, I think with God, when I think of someone who's God, I think it's someone that is an image that I can't really process. For me, I think, yeah, it's just he's a teacher because whatever he said, there's stuff that I can understand, and that what the content he says and the explanations he gives are things I can fathom and I can apply them in real life scenarios.
So how does it look like for you? You said it's more physical, so it's more easy for me to process. I understand. Now, after Swami's physical departure, what does it feel for you? How do you connect now, right? Like you said, God, you're not God versus it's more physical, and physical guru being able to, track you down into experiences that can be broken down easily. But how does it look like when Swami is physically not available for you? What does it really mean?
Yeah. I think it's a lot of it is just he's not physically available, but like the words he says are they stick with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Love all, serve all is something that sticks with you always.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's something, if you have to utilize those teachings in a day-to-day manner, then I think it will stick with you. Then, for example, right, like in my field, healthcare, in physical therapy, there's going to be a lot of patients, a lot of people who are going to be tough with you, who are going to be difficult with you, who are going to be saying names. There's also going to be, yeah, patients who are going to maybe not like you at all. But instead of doing what our ego tells us to do, being aka being mean back to them, you got to love them, serve them, and treat them with the dedication and dignity that they deserve, right? So given that simple philosophy, right? Love all, serve all, I'm like, oh, Swami says that. So I'm applying what Swami says in a day-to-day manner. And voila, I'm thinking Swami's there with me by my side.
So you also spoke about two things. One, you said you spent countless days. It was tough. You gave your all of your best to get into that play to perform in front of Swami, right? Like you went to Portland, you said, and then Oregon. All of the centers that you've been during that time, every week, attending the practices for which you have to perform over the next year. What does that experience really tell you? What does it really, and at the end you became sick. What do you think that's something that's needed at that moment, right? Like you gave your best, you gave a best shot in terms of practice, and then at the end you felt sick, terribly sick, as you said, and then at the end, Swami made everything so simple to actually have him perform in front of you. And he you said he smiled at you, looked at you through your eyes, and then he smiled at you in a way, nodding, saying, "Hey, no, I know what you really mean," right? Like, what is that really? How does that experience? Why do you think that's needed? How does that experience really shape you up? Like you said, it's a starting point. I agree. It's a very strong starting point for anybody who is 10 to have that kind of an experience, right? Like where you give your best unknowingly, without knowing, maybe due to compulsions from the family, maybe due to, and let's go for practice every week. Now, you're not just you, but your parents are everyone who is supporting you in terms of getting you through the center every week. getting you through that to that particular practice every week, which is kind of tough to do every week for a year. And necessarily when you actually want to even travel through to a certain place and get it done, it's not definitely easy. What does it really mean? How much is that commitment and availability? What does that bring to Swami?
I think that's a really, really good question. I think for me, that just shows the power of prayer. For example, I think that just shows, like, if you really put in your 100, I think for me, one takeaway was that if you put in your 100%, regardless if you are okay, regardless if you believe in God or not, really, regardless if you believe in Swami or not, Swami will make it happen. I think for me, that's what like a big thing. That's what I took away from that was. I think there was an analogy. I think my mom used to tell me all the time is like, if you put a light, or if you're trying to light a candle and you just put, you put the wick and then you just put the oil and light the match, and you put the candle in the wind and you hope for it to stay bright, then God's not going to make the candle, stay bright, right? But if you put if you take care of the candle, you take care of the wick, put enough oil, you light it, you put it under, protect it, and then you put it in the wind, then it's going to stay alive, right? Similarly, I think what I realized is if you put in your 100% effort, even if you have an obstacle before a big thing, and then if you have an obstacle, you're like, Swami, please take care of this. I don't know what to do. I've given my all. Please help me. He's gonna make it happen. That's what I think. That was a big takeaway, if that makes sense.
That's a very beautiful way of telling. The candle example was really, really beautiful, right? I mean, and you're talking about doing your stuff and surrendering the phala or the outcome to Swami, and being prepared by giving your 100%. Just give the best shot of what you can, and surrender all of what the outcomes are to Swami. And that sincerely gets you what you deserve instead of what you desire, right? The desire of you may be very different than what you deserve. What you deserve is what Swami understands, and what you might be deserving more than what you actually desire, due to all the karma palas or all your previous janma punyam and everything that you had in the past, right? Like the desire and the deserve, what a person deserves is only known to Swami rather than to anybody else for that matter, right? And exactly. He gives us on the time of need rather than the time of our want, right? Like the want and the need differs here a lot, right? Like I think beautifully told. Anyone in the call having any questions to Sanket, please unmute yourself and you can ask the question. Or if you feel sending the questions in for Sanket, please do send them in the chat window, and he can answer those questions as well.
Hey, Sairam, Prasanna.
Sairam.
Hey, Sairam, Sanket.
Sairam, Sriram.
Yeah. Again, belated happy birthday once again, Sanket.
Thank you.
Oh, birthday. I didn't know that. Happy birthday, Sanket.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think, a couple of things I wanted to ask you about, bro, was one thing that you shared, right? In college, you talked about how having that right sort of peer group of friendship, and you've struggled there, and how Swami's kind of helped you turn it around in that sense. And then also when it comes to any struggles that you had when you were studying and doing your duty as a student, and Swami's kind of somehow walked you through those struggles. I think both those aspects really resonate with someone who's going through that phase of life. And oftentimes, it's in this phase that you don't you kind of lose touch with the whole Sai world and Swami oftentimes because you're so busy. At least we see that a lot with young YAs who have just entered the college phase. Sorry, my daughter, uh, she's just calling for my attention. But uh, so at this phase, a lot of folks, including myself, right, didn't necessarily stay uber connected to Swami, and it seems like you having stayed connected has really helped you, especially on both these crucial fronts. Could you just walk us through how he kind of helped you through this whole journey, both on the peer group or the circle of friends, and on the studies part, if you don't mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, I will admit that there were times where I have not been fully connected with Swami at all. For example, when um you first enter college, right? Like a lot of us, we're like, oh my God, we're so in wraps, we're so excited to make friends with Swami or not Swami, we make friends and constantly we're like, okay, we need to do school. Let's also go have fun. We're all focused on that. And I think at that point, I realized I was actually in a much, much darker place after neglecting Swami, right? Like neglecting my core values and hanging out with, okay, like I'll be friends with everybody. Neglecting my core values, I think that was a lot tougher. But I think my second year of college, to that's when I guess during the tough time, like I did not know what I was going to do. I got a new job on my campus. I also had work piling on, and I felt I was in my lowest of the low. And some, like, I don't know how, but I think Swami acted through one of my friends in the form of going to church, right? I went to college in the middle of nowhere, Washington, Central Washington University, which is literally in the center of Washington. Not I don't know if anyone knows anything about Washington, but apart from Seattle, there's nothing much. So I was one of the only Indian people there. I did not have that many connections, and I think one of my friends was like, "Hey, do you want to come to church with me?" And I was like, okay, sure. And I went to church and loved the messages of everything. And I'm like, okay, let me get connected to the YAs, to the YA group. And I'm like, after that, I think my whole personality started getting back up. I think for me, and then after that, I kind of realized, okay, like it's okay. Yes, we do neglect. Sometimes we do neglect Swami, and that's okay. That happens. But when you come back to it, like hold on to the people who do make you happy, right? Hold on to the people that help you stick to the right path. When I came back and I had a lot, I was like, okay, I'll join the YA program and be more interactive in it. I felt like my connection got a lot deeper, and I also went to the Chicago retreat, the ZYAF retreat in 2019, and I think, yeah, that's one thing is just there's a bhajan that says, when dark clouds fill your skies, hiding sunshine from your eyes, say his name, see his form, hold on. That's all you got to do. I think during whatever tough time whatever happens, regardless of whatever happens, you just got to say his name, see his form, hold on, and then it'll be okay. Yeah, I think that was just a big thing I've realized. And from then on, I think, yes, my life hasn't been easy, with regarding like school and workload wise, but I think just realizing that I have support from God, that makes everything so much better. We do stray away, but then he'll come and bring you back into the right path, and I guess in the in the forms of other people. So yeah, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Makes a lot of sense, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
So I got 2 questions from brother Sai or sister Sai. Any Swami books I read? Dharma Vahini, we just finished that with Satyasai Book Club. if you do want to join book club, please let me know. I just started that whole initiative after going to the Riverside retreat. I'm from Seattle, the Seattle area.
Nice. That initiative was that's a really good initiative, right? I mean, I would like to know more about it.
Yeah.
Let you know on that as well. Yeah. Anyone
Go ahead.
specifically? Please unmute yourself and you can ask the question, or you can send the questions over the chat. Okay. I think let's go to the next person. Sanket, thank you so much for sharing those really wonderful experiences, beautiful narration, by the way.
Absolutely.
All the
Thank you so much.
examples that you took. It was really, really nice having you over this call. Sairam, thank you. And
thank you.
On to Sravan. Sairam, Sravan, thanks for joining. I know probably we have never met as well, right? So so why don't you get through a small intro about yourself and we can listen.
Definitely, brother. It's always when we are always a second speaker, there would be a pressure. When the first talk is really good, there is a little pressure that's built. And also we get so engrossed. I'm really forgot now. I've forgotten what should I talk.
I know beautiful experiences kind of make you feel like, oh wow, this is great, right? I mean, I know. Yeah.
Yes, brother. It was wonderful, Sanket, brother. And myself, I'm Sravan, and I'm very new to US. It's been 6 months, and thanks to Sai Samiti brothers and sisters for helping me. For me, yeah, it's a quick introduction. I've come on my work purpose here, and yeah, I've been into Sai portal for now. In the year 99, I've been introduced to Swami's philosophy, Swami's principle. Well, that's about myself to quickly introduce.
Yeah. How did you get into Swami's fold, right? Like, what is that? You said you got introduced in 99. What does that look like? How
Yes,
you
brother.
introduced?
So what happened was in 99, my father lost his business. We were in Chennai. I grew up when I was 9 years, I was in Chennai. My father lost very badly in business. So he had two options, either go to a Marina Beach nearby or either one of his brothers, so he's one among seven. So one of his brother offered a small role at a place, said, you have to travel. It's not in Chennai. It's a small town in Andhra. So you got to travel. So it's near Bhadrachalam, we call. So it was near that place. My father went on to take up opportunity to see what it is. So we have lost everything. There is nothing. So what we could do as a family. So I, my brother, mother, and father, we went to that place. And all of the sudden, we realized. So when I see the photo in the background, the same photograph. So there was this white feet. There were steps of like small Krishna, and we were like shocked what this could be, because by then we were staying in my father's brother's place, and my father's brother left that place because he had some more opportunities to go. So he left that place. So we had this Bhagwan small photo. Why? Because my father's brother know Bhagwan since 5 decades almost. Still the Maya has spell on us. So we got introduced in 99. uh, so there was the small white feet that was falling in home. We were like, we never know what it was. Then a person who was close to Bhagwan told, this is Satya Sai Baba's Padalu, the feet of Satya Sai. He has blessed you. We were like, at that moment, we had nothing. We were like, we from nowhere, we are almost lost. We don't know if we would recover. We were like, okay, this is like a blessing. Please preserve this footsteps. And this incident told me two things. One, Bhagwan is ultimate. He's the God. Swami is God. Two, he was beyond time and space, because we were there around, physically we were there, suddenly out of nowhere this footsteps coming. And we were like, okay, God. So then I slowly got introduced to Bhalvikas, and I predominantly believe if there is something that has shaped my character, and when I had real problems in life, this Balavikas and SSC centers, what I've gone through, these the character building value systems. So few days passed, there was this Swami's image, And my father's brother was a smoker. My uncle was a smoker. So one fine day, after things were getting better, my father, as a gratitude, wants to go to Parthi and show his gratitude to Swami. Thanks for everything. Fortunately, Swami was coming to darshan. My father was in the line, and Swami was telling, "All good, Anta Bagu, all good. Your brother smokes, and my photo is there around. Should I take your smoke or agarbatti smell?" This was like this was so ultimately revealing. He's omnipresent. I mean, Swami was like, we have taken aback. Swami. Then he told, ask him to stop it. It's not good for him. So few days passed, we conveyed the message like my father what he told, and he stopped it. He really took it seriously. And for someone like who was into business, who had its tension, the smokers and all, he stopped it. He showed his discipline. He stopped it, surrendered to Bhagwan, and suddenly out of blue, few days after, his blood group changed. We were like,
Blood group changed.
yes, his blood group changed.
Blood
So
group changed, you mean?
yes, from A positive to something, it changed.
Wow. I've never heard of this. Okay.
So it was like so Bhagwan. So this was such a thing that was happening. Still, I am still a human being, young kid. So whenever, so my father really, my parents played a major role in shaping uh, a devotion kind of thing what we had. So what my parents used to do disciplinely since 2002 to 2012, almost every year Sankranti at least. At the time of Sankranti, we go as a family to Parthi, take his darshan. We have that time in Parthi and we come back as a family. So this practice, what slowly, the first time when I went, I was really amazed by students of Sai. And I was like, what a discipline and the kind of love Swami was showering. And of course, he showers every. I was like, okay, someday, Swami, if things work out, should sit on the other. This was a small wish, but yeah. So his blood group changed, and yes. So in 2011, when Swami physical presence was not around, my things also slowly changed. I lost my mother's father. He reached Swami's lotus feet because of lung cancer. And I have been through his suffering just to serve him because he has been close to my physical thing those days in my growth also. After he passed away, 1 month later, I mean, my mother. So one day, my mother had a small headache, and she was asked to get a platelet check done. So when we check the platelets, it was very low. I mean, somewhere around 40,000, which is considered to be low. And doctors immediately suggested, let's give her platelets. The moment they are entering the platelets, it's like the count is again coming down in 24 hours. So doctor suspected there is something off, and she also developed some red dots on her body. Doctors suspected there is something off with her this thing. Let's give a cancer check. And she was 42 years old, brothers and sisters. So my mother, and she, it was confirmed she was in the final stage, almost in the last stages of blood cancer. And doctor said it was impossible. So I was working then. I joined a company. It's been a year or something, and I was working. Had to quit because of this. I said okay because of the value, again because of the value system, that else if someone else I could have pushed it on to my father. And there would have been good chances. But Swami always told and showed. He was showed this, like the parents' love, mother's love is very important. So this is something what happened. I quit my job, and doctors given two important conditions. It would be a treatment of 6 chemotherapies or seven, almost 7 chemotherapies or something. And we don't know if things would be right or wrong. Anytime anything would happen. And then what happened? Uh, After this, he told one more thing. There should be a person who should be very close to. He should not contact others because of the hygiene issues. He should be in a door. I mean, inside the door with the patient itself. These are the two, three conditions which doctor told. I was ready then. And I sincerely, I could see because it's mother, I couldn't say because it was mother. I started. So I spoke to doctor. I came up. It was the day one of getting the moment it was confirmed it was a cancer. I came up. My mom told, no, Swami came. Swami told it was a blood cure. It's not blood cancer. You go ahead with your program. You go ahead with your treatment. Then my mother, she told me, she asked, how about my son? He has given up everything. Mother's love. That's why my mother could have asked, treat me from this disease. But my mother asked, "Oh, how about my son?" Then Swami told, I'll take care of him. You don't worry. This happened exactly in the year 2013. I came up, I told, my mother told this instance to us. I was like, she was okay. She was being on a positive note, or she was telling something which wants to make us positive. So 1 year our treatment went
Was
on.
it a dream, or was it a dream, or
So it was supposed to, she told Swami came. She never told it was a dream or something. We came
okay,
and that's all. We never know what. I even consider it as a dream.
okay,
So this happened, this scene happened. Uh, Treatment was going on. So during the blood cancer, we need platelets very frequently. So there was this a day very I mean I can't say. So there was a day I lost my this platelets weren't available. I was like struggling, and there was one person out of blue who came and went. I asked them. So by then I used to send these messages to what's all IT companies to take help for platelets, because platelets was really tough to get. So suddenly this man comes out and no, no, some one person. So this guy is a Bengali. So this person can know some person came in my dream, told there is a platelet need in this hospital. He was wearing orange dress. I showed this photo of this. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. So this
it's
person
all right.
and this person is Satya Sai Baba, and I was like, I never had words when these things happen, but later when there were no platelets, I thought I should do my homework. I should never risk, because this would be a very big challenge for us. But this is how the love of God would come and play. So once this incidents happened, chemo went on. Swami's grace, she recovered well. Everything was good. Her positive. Why? Because it needs a lot of positivity for an individual as well to recover all this. So that's where my great respect goes to women. This is how my all my respects towards women go, because they are so positive. Like if it had been, I would have run away in on the second day or third day itself. So after this happened exactly in the month of my mother finished her treatment in the month of February. We came back. I started applying for MBAs back then, and I've been shortlisted from for XLRIs and all these colleges. But the challenge was again that time money was very very major constraint for me, because we have to. It was not that affordable then. Treatments were not affordable, so we have to sell some things and we need some money. So by then I finished my MBAs. I was started to look at MBAs. So as usual, like all do, I applied for Swami's College also. So when I applied for Swami's College, usually the college starts in the month of June. 1st of June, college starts. All the interviews and all happens at 30th of April, and the results would be out in 1 week. All the final list would be out in 1 week. That is somewhere around May 6th or 7th. So I've given my interviews. Everything I felt went well. So after that, 1 week the results are out, my name was not there. I was like, okay, like name was
This
not
is
there.
Swami's college for
Yes,
Swami.
Swami Satya Sai Institute, Prashant Nilay. My name was not there. So I just, then my father told, let's not waste time, you please go ahead, apply for other colleges. Anyways, I've been shortlisted.
Okay.
Only thing was, it was the loan factor which I was really worried, because it was not so easy then for us after getting one calamity of financials. So it was June 4th. I still remember my dates. My father said, let's go with a bank loan. So we have applied for a bank loan. I was taking the Xerox. My father parallelly was talking to my Samiti teacher, telling Shravan was not fortunate to have it. And he receives a phone call telling, we are calling from Satyasai University, and will your child be able to join the college? So, brothers and sisters, trust me, it was June 4th. Still, I have the mail. A mail was also sent on me, and they told it should be in 2 days. Then my father was like, it was a chance and it was like a lifetime opportunity. Why can't we? So in 2 days, I packed my bags. I left to Patti. And from there, 2014, my life was into a different thing. But yes, like you told, if it is a dream or if it is a this thing, brother, I am not really sure. But whatever Swami promised, in whichever form is, it has happened. He has taken care of he has taken care of my education, which I told I'll take care of your child. So always I had this strong feel. It's nothing like I prayed. I had really prayers. because I've seen my very close people being into Swami's fold, doing many things. I had this very dream of being with Swami, but I strongly believe it's parents' prayers which plays a major role, or it's I mean the parents' prayer, because of parents as I'm there. I don't know if I did something good to stay there or not, but it was so happy to be there, and the wonder that journey was very different from there. So this was one more incident which I really loved. After so the during my so after once came out once, yeah. So once Swami's physical presence was gone, I was like so-called stupid, so-called this thing. I started searching for Swami everywhere. I mean, wherever I go, I started traveling to Himalayas and all whenever I had time. Even till 2018, 19, I was doing this. So I go to saints, I go to people, I go to Tiruvannamalai. I just sit and meditate, talking. So I go and ask them only one thing. If I see, I want to see Sai Baba, I want to talk. But later on, one great saint came across me and told me, "Do you think Sai Baba is in Himalayas or sitting? He's everywhere. Why do you come here?" So this was one more wonderful incident that happened in my life. So he was God of. I mean, he had universe in his hand. I don't know, brother, if time supports, but yeah,
No,
these were
we have all the time. So go ahead. We still have time. Don't worry about it.
so. One more incident was like once I finished my MBA, I was into corporate. So I was shortlisted for a corporate company. Somewhere I felt those days I used to feel I should go to an NGO and work, do some great work. So I've been shortlisted for one of the very big projects. And fortunately, I could do something on data and the character. So when I joined my MBA, what happened was I was an extrovert before joining an MBA. I used to talk, I used to do, but the shift in consciousness that came in after my MBA was I became completely opposite of what I was. So that's what like Swami. So when I started working, I always ensured the principles what Swami taught, like dedication, determination, and being good to others and all. This led me really. So one of the India's, I mean, he led one of the biggest missions like Swachh Bharat mission. And all. So I submitted a project work, and he just asked who did this. Then my name came up, and he was asking, "Where are you from, or what is your name?" I told, "I'm Sravan. I'm from Satyasai." "Oh, you're from Satyasai. Okay, then no wonder." So, I mean, then I realized the kind of value system we carry is being always valued by everyone. So these kind of incidences really told Swamis around, Swamis within and Swamis everywhere. So, yes, brother, these are few incidents that impacted me a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're a wide range of experiences, right? Like where you said you were completely down, and from then on, how Swami helped not just you, your entire family, both in terms of health, career, your own studies, etc. I mean, it's like taking through somebody. I mean, the experience that you have sometimes make you feel, at least for me, many times make you feel, what have I probably done in some few previous years to even have Swami call me every single time and give that shower, that experience, right? It's like showering um, the great experience on somebody who is even away for a particular time. He pulls you with all his strings, right? Like he pulls you when just like what I said during the previous business talk. I was telling, it's not about what you need. It's about what you desire. I mean, what you deserve, not what you desire, right? Like when you deserve, and in the time of your need, not in time of what you want, right? When you want it or what you want, but in the time of your need, that's when Swami comes and kind of sometimes make you feel that his presence is there, and sometimes he kind of does the job very silently, but takes care of things, takes
Yes.
care of things in particular, right?
So
Like, yeah.
this
Uh,
reminds me one more incident. Sorry. So, like
please.
every Sankranti, we go to, I mean, every Pongal, Jan first, second weeks, we used to go to after sports meet, we go to Parthi. So there was this aggressiveness when I was really young. I mean, 2004 to the. So I was like, I want to sit in the first line. I want to take Swami's darshan by any chance. So this was one strong aggressive thing I had. But later, what happened? So those days, if you I know, so those days in Prashanti, how it was, the crowd was huge in 2004, 2005. So what they do is they do a line system. I mean, we have to wait outside in a line. Then what they do is they form six lines. So each line there would be 100 people, six lines, and we used to take a token. The first person whoever comes takes a token. So first person whoever takes goes on the first line. So I was so egoistic now. I didn't eat my food. I said my father, see, I'm going to take Swami's darshan and I'm going to. And the moment I took this token number was six. So I couldn't get I couldn't get the darshan, and Swami also those days was I couldn't take Swami darshan. But the 2 days followed by it, Swami didn't come for darshan. That is still I remember. Swami didn't come for darshan, and we all the devotees, Harati was given. We all went, and suddenly everyone started like, Swami is coming, Swami has come. We ran inside the gate, and I was there. I could see Swami. He was the, I mean, it was maybe the Vishwarup, but so cute. I mean, we never know, like you told, brother. Yes, absolutely. Whatever it's Swami who decides, and it is good if he decides. It's not.
Yeah. So how was your experiences when you actually did your masters in Parthi, right? What is it? What did you have any physical proximity with Swami? What kind of experiences were those? How were those? How did that that shaped you up?
Yes,
Right? More
so
physical experiences that people would like to hear a lot. I'm sure.
physical experiences was like I had it because by the time I joined institute, Swami's physical presence was not there. It was 2014 to
Oh,
16.
okay.
But so same, even I had this very, I mean, for me by then it was like Bhagwan was everything, and I was very much interested in what was his personal things, like how Swami would be, how Swami would maintain. So this was something, was a burning desire which I had. So when I joined the MBA, I really had that shower of love because I joined late, and the kind of love I had from my teachers, professors, it was enormous. So in Prashanti Nilayam, I had a really good chance of following a life of ascetic life, like without eating onion and garlic and all. So there was a day I still remember when I couldn't have food. I mean, there was all onion and garlic, and I couldn't have anything, and it was very bright summer. I was really not strong. I slept, and I see one of my in fact, he was a director of the campus. So he comes to hostel and he just tells, hey, get up, have the sandwich I brought for you. I mean, who on, like I told him, sir, it was they were like parents. I mean, nothing to be like, were trained by Bhagwan, and they know how Bhagwan loves. And it is that they were showering. And he brought me a sandwich telling, hey, get up, have your sandwich and just get some relaxation. These incidences, like when I think the game is over, Swami comes and he starts his game. That's the kind of love. In fact, so I like I told you, from my childhood, I had this my one of my very close people had this chance of shooting a video recording Bhagwan and all. I was like, someday. And when I was not a student, I mean, before a student, it was so expensive to carry those equipments and all. But when I joined the portal, I had a chance of carrying those equipments. And really, it's not our initiative, it's Bhagwan's initiative. We started something called Satsang. So it's on YouTube as well. So when we started it, like with few of our brothers and all, whoever with Swami, what were their closest experience. So we recorded almost for some 300 episodes by then. So during my tenure of 2 years, listening to Bhagwan. So whenever I listen their experiences to, it was really hair raising. But nevertheless, just want to. It was so my travel. I mean, my journey as masters. It was rigorous. I could see what fire is. I could see what water is, and experiencing all this made me a complete man. At least after coming out of the portals.
Yeah. So how is I mean during your college days, especially the what does that look like in terms of Swami was physically not there by then, but you said you experienced love through all of your professors and everybody. But how does it feel like? I mean, what does it did you feel Swami's presence when you and what does it? Is there any experience that you want to narrate?
Oh, yes, brother. So, as you know, I'm really shy type. I mean, I even in the institute, I stopped talking after. But there was a very,
By the way, Swami says MBA. I think he says man as he ages, when he gets the ability, that becomes the man. Man as he ages, when he gets the ability, that's what is management or something. I need to go back, and as the man ages, I think the ability that he gets, and as he ages, his mind also ages, right? That becomes management, is what he says, right? As you grow further, you mellow down. That probably becomes a real management. MBA,
absolutely.
right? Like, I mean, yeah.
Absolutely, brother. So what it was, so when, yeah, during my MBA's one, there were many instances. Even now it's happening actually. I just so even after coming to Austin, I have experiences. I had few experiences here as well. So thanks for remembering, bro. Now, okay. So one of the experience was I was supposed to talk, and all the I was really hesitant. I'm very much into, I don't want to get into it, but I was really forced. But trust me, brother, when I went to after giving a good practice, after getting into the Prashantis, that main stage area, which is next to Bhagwan's it's like presence, Bhagwan's presence there. Suddenly, I was talking, I saw into Bhagwan. That's all. Rest all is taken care of. I mean, these kind of rest all was taken care of. And the kind of applause I had on that day, I knew it was not me, but still, I don't want to take the credit. But it was really appreciated. These kind of things happen. Even after coming to Austin Center, I'm sorry, I'm really,
No, no, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're
so
not missing anything.
Bhagwan gives everything whatever he has. This is one more thing which I've experienced of late. So I was really in a need of a laptop. I don't know if I could get one after coming to Austin, because I want to edit something or I want to show something to people. So what happened? Then suddenly I told one of the Sai sisters and brother. Then next day Sai brother calls me, bro. You'll not believe. There is a half-priced laptop which I never seen in my career, and I quote. He told the same thing. I've never seen in career. You should go with it. My even the wife, my wife was like stunned, because the before day itself we were discussing, maybe it's Swami's will, if it has to happen it will happen otherwise. And the next day the laptop arrives, and one of the best laptops which I've never seen. Swami keeps answering. I mean, he's around, he's within, he's everywhere, where he showers through love, and that's something which there.
Definitely, the way you said, he's beyond time and space, right? Like the way you started with, right? Like, yeah, it's
Oh,
true.
yes, brother. One more thing is
Yeah, yeah.
recently. I mean, if I'm here today, this happy, if I'm here, this content. If I talk about it's my wife and a 3 year. It's all because of the people I've got introduced in the Sai Samiti. I just don't want to take out names because of the privacies I don't. But it was so wonderful. It's so wonderful. I mean, someone from unknown place. I mean, from India, and I don't know this city. I was really scared, because coming out of comfort zone and talking, these things are really tough. But I'm really thankful, and it's all Bhagwan's love. This is how, at least I see. Okay, Swami is. Oh, also one. Sorry,
Yeah,
one
please
more
go ahead.
is like my mother only. So off late, what happened? She developed a small this thing 2 years back, and doctor said, yeah, to do a surgery as usual. So my mother went in front of Bhagwan's photo and told, if you are God, please remove this, or please why. So she was talking in this way, Swami, why do you give all these hardships to us? It's all Bhagwan's. You take care of us, and why all these hardships to us? If this is being touched, then why you all exist? So I mean, the one she has developed. So trust me, brothers, till date, doctor has been uh, postponing her treatment, telling me she cannot undergo a surgery for some reason. One time they say their H1B levels are different. Other time doctor is busy. So these kind of things are, And Bhagwan is so aware. So even this was happening. I don't know. I'm just talking whatever.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I mean, I know some of the experiences are way too personal. Then some of that may not be, expressed by words, but it's more something that you feel more internally, right? Like the presence and his love that he showers upon. It's more personal. That's why we call this episode as My Sai and I. Right? It's more a personal experience than anything else, really. And all of us here in the call really love to listen to experiences of Swami, and your experiences are really, really good. Like starting with how. I mean, I'm still kind of contemplating how you said Swami's padam appeared out of nowhere, but is it the one incident that kind of made all of your family just get connected to Swami? What is that? There should be some driver to it, right?
Yes,
What's
brother.
the driver?
So the driver was Samiti itself. I don't know. So once we introduced to Swami, we got introduced to Samiti. I mean, the nearby Samiti and all. So Sai Baba Samiti, Satya Sai Samiti, and the kind of work that was taking place was enormous. So that was one of the important things that shaped my life. And so drivers of life. In fact, my mother, father, after having these incidences, and it was not easy. Like Swami, if he wills it at his will, at his will, he could have told no need to go to treatment. But it's like she made my mother undergo everything.
Mhm,
And even us, so undergo everything.
mhm,
And Swami was there. So
mhm,
he ensures that. And like you asked, brother, so why, how? So that was one incident. And slowly, when my father was recovering and paying back everything and started to build new life, that gave us a confidence. And we can't say it's because of us and all. We know it was Swami who was taking care in each and every step. So, yes, brother, that's how we slowly. And Samiti, I mean, these size centers, I believe, played a very, very, very pivotal role.
yeah,
That is
yeah, yeah,
that is which when I look back, I'm really grateful for two things.
yeah.
One is Swami, of course, and Sai centers and my parents. So these
Yeah.
three things I'm
That
really.
centers and the organization, as Swami says, are for our own benefit, right? It's nothing for for anybody else. I mean, putting that is a wheel that helps all of us to drive through our life journey. Experience Swami with each other's passion and compassion around, right? Like that becomes more easy journey when we have our companions to actually travel through that journey with Swami, right? Like and centers around whether they are centers in India or centers here are meant for that, right? Like and and that's exactly why e- going to centers are kind of that drivers that help people to when at least for me, when I go to center every Sunday, it kind of gives me all that energy that I can do rest of my that I can do and sustain for the rest of my week, right? Like and I would be waiting for going to the center the next week again, like that that kind of boosts all of your energy, builds positivity, both towards work as well as towards your personal life. The amount of energy that you put over doing some service activities or whatnot at the centers helps each one of us to kind of not just do that experience, but also shape up our own own mental state, help each of us shape our mental state, right? Like kind of shape that transformation happens more internally over a period of time, that it is very hard to explain what happens in a particular day, right? It is over a very long period of time as you go to centers, as you go and attend those satsangs, and that's why it's called satsang, right? Like, it's a sangam of sat people. I mean, it's a congregation of all bright energies around, right? Like where we discuss about divine empowerment in all of our lives. That definitely shapes all of us, and that's more important for all of us to be there in the centers. And I think I've been stressing this every single time when I hear about centers, right? Centers are hearts of what we do, right? We might be having more personal experiences, but when we actually go more physically to the centers, more be at the centers, that's when I think the experience kind of flowers in, that builds up more beautifully, and helps us also shape each one of our lives more beautifully, more faster, more efficiently, right? Like that definitely helps each one of us, I would say, right? And your experiences are really, really beautiful. And, transforming one's life, both in terms of, as I said, it's not just in one phase, right? When Swami says, I will take care, he will take care for the rest. And he is there for you. And it's sometimes that we are not there for him, but he is always there with us, right? He is always there with us, taking care of us every single point of time, beyond space and time and energy, as we speak, right? Like he is always there with each one of us, and that's something that each one of us experience. And this episode or series of episodes that we have, and Maisa and I are kind of trying to have that emphasis on what each one's experiences, right? Your beautiful experiences are one of those. Really, any questions that anybody has to Sravan, please unmute yourself. If you don't have to be on camera, if you don't wish to be, but you still can ask that question over. You can unmute and ask, or you can even send a chat, send the question to the chat as well. Please, Sairam.
Hey, Sairam, Prasanna. Sairam. Sravan.
Sairam.
Yeah, I think it's amazing the kind of journey that you've had, brother Sravan. I think it's this journey is so intense that one would be easily overwhelmed, and I think I could feel that when you spoke. Swami's presence in your life has been so meteoric, dramatic, that it is hard to put into words.
Yeah.
The way you began, of how he manifested himself when you guys had lost everything, and that and Swami's footsteps show up, and leads you to the Swami's photo in one sense. It's incredible the way Swami manifested at a time when you've lost everything, so-called everything materially, and then Swami gives you guys the truest wealth of it all, which is the sangha, like you talked about, and the association with him. That is the greatest wealth that one can have, and you've been blessed with it. And just to continue on that journey that you've had from there, I think is so powerful. And Prasanna rightfully touched upon, and you touched upon the power of samitis and the congregation of good souls there. And then you also touched upon something very, very important, brother, which was the power of women. The samitis and centers that are run today here are run on the backs of women. They are the work engines of our centers, and you rightfully recognized their presence and their contributions in uplifting our lives. And so I just wanted you to explain a little bit more. Why did you say women specifically? And I know your mom, I'm sure, has prayed and in one sense made you who you are through her prayers. But what is it that has so deeply impacted you about women that you made that statement? Because I think, as a guy, I think it really struck a chord with me. So just wanted you to share a little bit more as to why you said specifically women and why you admire them.
Got it, brother. So yeah, this again goes back to my mother itself. Why? Because when my father was in a problem, he lost his business. There are two options she could have. One, either to leave my father, go to her house, or stay with my father, fight the battle. She opted for the second one. Like, I mean, staying with my father and staying with throughout his problems and all. So that is one. I still remember the days where my father had to go out. People come, ask for. They come. They are in a very rude way. But still, I remember the days I was standing with a stick. That's where a woman. My respect for women. Women are very sacred. And also, one more incident was during her treatment. Like there are 100% chances she could have got frustrated. I mean, when she was undergoing all this stuff and all. But rather it was the other side. People around her at times get she was strong, and that was something which really moved. And in the year 2017, again after my MBA, I quit my corporate because of as I told you, I joined one of the biggest NGOs of India. The reason was I was traveling in a Bombay metro, and I see women didn't have a bathroom, so they had to do their activities near to the metro train. This is still on records actually. So I had to. Then I was motivated to join that mission actually. So somewhere I don't know Bhagwan, and also Bhagwan Sayas. This is so Bhagwan always ensured that his the love towards women is so pure, and he also he showed it actually to us, like this is how it has to be. I mean, Mother Ishwarama's this thing, and how he was with her sisters and devotees, and how Swami was like what he could do and all. So these few things, and also actually I've studied about this article somewhere in the year 2017. There was women who didn't who couldn't have food and died out of I mean passed out of hunger, and Swami has started an initiative after studying in somewhere like Anantapur district. This should not happen. I'm going to start Gram Seva has started something on those lines. I still am. So one is Swami, one is through Swami, and it is Swami. So that's where my this thing towards women. Swami always says women has to, and they're Jagat Jananis. So that presence has to be given. And also in Vedas and all, if you see our histories, uh, let's take Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu's all avatars. He is born, but never a
Yeah,
woman is born, because you take Madurai Meenakshi, Kanchi Kamakshi
they
Amma,
manifested. They only manifested, right?
they,
I think Swami also told in one of the discourse about this, that the power of the creation is womanish, and that's why all of the avatars of the female nature are never born but are manifested. Right? Just want to touch them.
Yes, brother.
And no, I think it's so it's so wonderful. Like you talked about that character building is so evident in you. Here you were, you graduated from MBA, you got a nice a good job, I presume, in the corporate world, and then to suddenly drop all that to go towards the this NGO and work with this NGO. I think you're lucky, brother, in one way. And the reason I say that is, having at a very young age lost everything from a material standpoint, I don't think you valued it as much as the average Joe youngster would have, to give up that comforts and the material comforts and the money that came across that comes with a plush corporate job, and then to dive into an NGO the way you did, I think was very inspiring to me when you mentioned it, because Swami encourages us to think big in the truest sense when it comes to serving, and to see a brother like you and a shining example like you who's ready to dive into it, I think inspires me a lot. So I'm very very grateful to you for for sharing and coming today and sharing. I think it's amazing what this Maisai and I stories bring about. It's incredible, from Sanket talking about his experiences, and the lamp analogy, to you talking about the footsteps analogy, because I think the footsteps of Bhagwan, he's literally carried you on his shoulders all the way through. That footsteps continue to be his footsteps with respect to your life. And I think in so many ways he's I think Prasanna talked about the fact Swami gives you what you deserve, not necessarily what you desire. But in your case and your family's case, he's probably given you guys what you guys desire as well. Probably what you guys desire is what you deserved as well. Even I know, even recently, I know you wanted to always own something as simple as own an Audi. And Swami, you were talking to me about it, and Swami made it happen. Even the simple, small, you so-called petty desires one would have, he's making it happen in your life. Incredible is the presence of Bhagwan in your life, from the relatively minuscule things to as huge as your mother's situation or your father's situation. Is just amazing to see Swami's presence from the smallest to the most critical aspects of life. It's amazing. This sort of these sort of experiences from both of you, very grateful, because it really invigorates our energies, like Prasanna was saying, to go back with renewed focus and vigor as we try to keep and stay the path. Because Swami's words, like Sanket said, love all, serve all, is very, very uplifting, but also hard to follow at times. You know what I mean? So, I mean, your stories give me the impetus to go back. So, thank you so much, brother. Sairam.
Sairam, anybody else having any question, please unmute yourself and do ask the question, or we can send the questions over the chat as well.
I just have one small thing though, Prasanna, before. So, you talked about the fact that you were a very aggressive go-getter, even when it comes to standing in the lines and having a darshan of Swami, Brother Sravan. And then you talked about, like Prasanna also touched upon, you turned introvertish. I mean, how did that come about? Because one's intrinsic nature uh, tends to stay, but what about you changed that made you introverted in one sense, that made you go inward and become a little more reclusive? I think that's a very interesting aspect that I've not necessarily heard in the recent Maisa and I sessions, that suddenly an extroverted person becomes pretty introverted and reclusive. So was there something particular that made you do so? I was just curious how that transformation came about, or was it very gradual or pretty dramatic?
No, right. Suddenly, I mean, I didn't. So I was not observing when I was even before joining MBA. I was into a group discussions with good, I mean, top tier colleges and all. So after joining MBA, somehow it changed. I mean, maybe fell into the comfort zone of I had love, I had love around, and this is being spread, and maybe this is how the world is. But that consciousness shift has happened, because even today, I see my people saying he has changed. Yes, because uh, so when I was doing my engineering, my friends, my father, they were my friends, and they used to tell my father, we cannot. Even I had complaints from my colleges when I was studying my engineering, but still, all this Balvika's characterhood, this stood in me. Once I changed my MBA, people then started telling, they observed the difference. It's not me. Like how he changed, how he changed. I really don't know, but
I think it's a goal of MBA, Swami. I was just googling the right phrase that Swami said. Swami said, management is when man has a mentality which is apt for his age, right? That's a management. So I think you truly are an MBA in a sense. At the end of the MBA, you kind of maybe transform. You might be more introvert, but it's more focusing inward, right? Not necessarily being an introvert, right? Having that energy more focused inward. That's the goal of all of us are trying to achieve, right? Like
truly, bro. I don't know if I've told one more thing. Sorry for this, but service also, it's like, I think it's something which is very close to Swami's heart. Like Sai Center itself, very close, and service also, which I didn't mention it explicitly, but Swami had this love for service a lot. I've seen one, two incidences actually, but I don't know. Some of that I could talk about. But service is also very close to Bhagwan's heart. If I told, like, my father's brother was blood group A, but I have seen him doing a lot of service to Swami Sai centers and all. So that was also, I don't know if I've covered it explicitly, but just want to tell.
With that, with all the nice experiences of both Sanket and Sravan, I want to thank Swami for truly giving us this experience sharing session, being more a session where we could connect with them more internally, right? Like necessarily not just, as I said, touching upon more just external experiences of oneself, but traveling more inward, experiencing himself right in this call, right? Having heard both of your experiences, it's truly amazing. And I thank both of you for coming online here, spending some time with us and sharing all your experiences. Let's end it with one Om and three Shantis. Sravan, do you want to lead us through a prayer?
Sure, brother. If that's Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की।
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.